every time, yeah. You come around, yeah. You ease my mind, you make everything feel fine. Worry about those comments, I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah.
Hi guys! Welcome to my January wrap-up. So, without further ado, let's just jump on right into this, shall we? Alright, for the month of January, I read a total of, 8 books. For me, 8 is pretty good. Normally, I'm lucky if I get like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 in, but 8? Holy cow! That is incredible, am I right? Alright, we're just gonna jump into it. They're not in any particular order, and when I read them, I just read them. Anyways, the first one I'm gonna talk about is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. This has definitely been around, and if you have not read this book yet, I highly recommend it because A, where have you been? And B, it is good, and the movie just came out. I caved and watched it before I finished the rest of the book, but I still finished it, obviously. But this was a 5-star read for me. I really enjoyed reading about Star and about her world and what she kind of has to go through for a 16-year-old, which normal 16-year-olds shouldn't have to go through. But basically, violence is never okay. That's never the way to go. But never be silent. Your voice is your own power. Use it in a good way. It's basically what Star had to learn. And it just follows her life and what happened between her and her best friend that got shot at by a by a white officer, and he got out of it clean, which I didn't like that. Like, if you shoot an innocent, no matter what color, you should get punished for it. I mean, I might get some hate for that, but I didn't like that. But overall, I liked the book and the characters. They were funny. There were some that were like, what did you just say? What did you just do? Why are you doing this? But The Hate U Give, yes please. We need more books like this in our world, I think. That's just my opinion on The Hate U Give. Alright, the next good one I read is The Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. This is told in reverse, and I really like it. And again, it talks about a kid that got shot at, and his brother saw, well, quite a few people saw it happen. But he decides to take hands in his own manner and try to take down the killer who shot his brother, or who he thinks shot his brother anyway. But in the elevator on the way down, there's these ghosts that come in and try to at least talk him out of it, try to get him to change his mind, because if you go around shooting your brother's killer, it's only going to end up worse for you. Not for them, but for you as well. And I really liked it. It's like, I'm stunned by those 2 books already. And the fact that I just got this in January and I've already read it, I like it. Moving on, there's a lot of books. The next book I read, and I didn't think I would like poetry all that well until I read a few last month and last year, of course, but we've already talked about that. Anyway, the next book I read is The Poet X, and again, this is also told in reverse. It's about a girl named Examora. She has a twin brother, and she's basically, again, silent. And the only thing that she can voice is her poems that she writes, like through the event of the day and how she's feeling. She writes it all down as poems in a little diary that her brother gave her. And she's really good. And the book, I love it so much. Like, I can't. But I can. But I can't. It's just, you need to read this as well. It's really good. It had me hooked from the very beginning until there was no more pages left to turn, basically. And there's her and her mom. When her mom found her poems, her mom didn't like them. Her mom burned them. I got mad. And I about threw the book across the room. I'm like, you're gonna burn your daughter's poems just because you don't like what they say? It's like, why would you go and do that? It's like telling someone to burn your favorite book just because that person didn't like it. That's how I felt when I read that scene. I was like, no! The woman's horrible. But overall, as you can tell, this is one of my favorite books so far that I read this year, and that is The Poet X. Alright. This next book I'm going to talk about, it's a little comic book. As you can see, it's small. And it's the Archie comics. It's really good. It's just about Archie and the gang in Riverdale. And it has like a bunch of little short stories in them. Of course, the ones that I pick up and reading, they have no Cheryl. What is going on? Where's the Blossoms? But I liked it. I got a kick out of it. And of course, these little small ones don't take me very long to read either. Like, and this isn't the only one I have, but I'm going to try to read more Archie comics this year. Just like, yes. Alright. The other book, I've had this since high school, did a reread of it, and I fell in love all over again. Basically, it's about a girl named Stacy Brown who's at a boarding school. And her roommate, she's been having nightmares about her. And her roommate ends up having a stalker, and Stacy's trying to figure it all out. And she is a witch, which is so cool because her nightmares give her little clues on how to find people who go missing. Well, people she's close to with. And that is Blue is for Nightmares. There is a whole series to this. And like I said, I haven't read these since high school, so rereading it, memories. Like, I even remembered who the killer was, which is surprising because it's been so long. And I was like, oh, yeah, I remembered. I didn't like that guy. And then later on, I was like, oh yeah, I didn't like him because he was the killer. I'm not going to say who it was, in case if you read this, but it was well worth the read. The next book, I don't have an actual physical book of it, but I have it on audio. And I finally got around to reading The 7 Husbands of Evan Lee Hugo. And it is worth the hype that everyone's been talking about. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but The 7 Husbands of Evan Lee Hugo. And this girl, Monique, thinks she's going in for an interview for her magazine company to talk about Evan Lee Hugo's past lives. Little does she know, Evan Lee, I'm trying to say it, thinking if I'm saying this girl's name right, but Evan Lee Hugo is wanting Monique to write her life story and publish the book when she dies and get money from it. Learning about the 7 husbands that she had, it was incredible, and all the stuff that she had to go through in life, and it's just, it like blew my mind. It was like crazy. And her first husband was not my biggest fan. The second one, he was alright, I guess, but until like her very last husband, which was her best friend, he was awesome. Because it's also, her husband is kind of weird to explain in a way, because her husband was her best friend, but he also wasn't her husband in a way, if that makes sense, because he was into boys and she was into girls. So they were married, but they were seeing other people, if that makes sense. But overall, when the book was over, I wanted to see if Evan-Lee Hugo was, like, real, to see, like, if there was, like, pictures. That's how real I wanted that story to be. Alright, moving on to the last book I have here, and I finally picked up Shatter Me by Tara Murphy. I don't know if I said that right, but I apologize. Anyway, we're following a girl named Juliet. This book kind of gave me, like, X-Men vibes. Because, like X-Men, one of the girls cannot touch anyone because of her power, because she doesn't want to harm them. That's what happens with Juliet. But there is a couple of boys in the book that she can touch with no harm. And one of them is Adam. And the other one, Warren. I was going to say, I can't remember his name because he was so bad. But Warner is just a jerk from the first book. I haven't read the other ones yet. But for Shatter Me, oh my gosh, he needs to go somewhere else, like pronto. But overall, I enjoyed the book. I listened to it on audio and followed along in my book because that's just how I like to listen to audio. But I would highly recommend the audio because I get through it quicker. But her touch is power instead of lethal, and there's a guy at the very end who wants to show her how she can use her power with it being a weapon, but she doesn't want to use it as a weapon because she feels really bad. And with someone with that kind of power, it means they have a good heart. And I'm hoping for the best for Juliet. Alrighty, that was the total of the 8 books that I read this month. So if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there. And hit the notification bell because, you don't want to miss further videos from me. And I will see you guys very soon. And yeah, that's about all I have. Okay, bye!